It's the deal the entire football world is holding its breath for. A record-shattering nine-figure bid, a generational Bundesliga superstar, and two of Europe's most ambitious clubs in a high-stakes negotiation. This is not just another summer transfer saga. The question is simple but seismic. Will Liverpool's all-in pursuit of Florian Wirtz, at a staggering price that could exceed $120 million, transform their future, or will it backfire spectacularly? But let's rewind. Why is this moment so pivotal, not just for Liverpool but for the future of elite football, for transfer market logic, even for the career paths of prodigies across Europe? And as millions are set to change hands, what's really at stake behind the scenes? Stay with us, because over the next 20 minutes we'll unpack the business, psychology, and sheer drama behind the most audacious transfer chase of the decade. When you think of Liverpool Football Club, one of England's most storied institutions, you think of tradition, of trophies, of "you'll never walk alone." But you also think now of strategic reinvention. The club's American owners, Fenway Sports Group, and a new sporting director, Richard Hughes, are quietly redrawing the blueprint for how top teams reload their arsenals. It's easy to forget just how much Liverpool's identity has shifted over the past decade. Cast your mind back to January 2011 when the club, still in the shadow of Manchester United's then dominance, broke the British transfer record to sign Andy Carroll for £35 million. It was audacious, yes, but many saw it as desperate, a splurge on potential that never quite delivered. Fast forward through the likes of Salah, Van Dijk, Alisson, and Darwin Núñez, and Liverpool no longer spends for spending's sake. Instead, their transfer strategy has become a textbook case in value creation and risk management. Every move is dissected, backed by data, aimed at sculpting squads that can compete at Europe's highest levels for years, not just seasons. But even for Liverpool, proud owners of a Champions League trophy, a Premier League crown, and a global brand worth over £3 billion, the move for Florian Wirtz marks a new era of ambition. Because to land a player like Wirtz isn't just about footballing need. It's about sending a message to rivals, fans, and the world. Liverpool intends to remain not just relevant, but dominant in the age of superclubs and sovereign wealth. Let's meet the protagonist at the heart of this drama. Florian Wirtz, just 22 but already Bundesliga Player of the Year. His story is meteoric. Hailing from Pulheim, joining FC Köln as a boy, and then, still a teenager, making the leap to Bayer Leverkusen, where he's evolved into a creative force of nature. Versatile, tactically sharp, relentless under pressure. Some see echoes of De Bruyne, others of Havertz, but most agree. Wirtz may be the most complete German midfielder of his generation. His stats last season with Leverkusen were jaw-dropping. Double digits in goals and assists, tireless pressing, and a natural ability to manipulate space and tempo. One Bundesliga analyst remarked, "Wirtz isn't just talented, he's transformative. He lifts every player around him." It's no wonder that, as Simon Rolfs, Leverkusen's sporting director, recently admitted, "There is concrete interest from Liverpool, but there's no more to say right now. Florian is our player." You can almost hear the carefully measured suspense. And yet, behind closed doors, negotiations have been anything but cautious. Liverpool's technical team, led by Richard Hughes, moved quickly, putting over $109 million on the table, with performance-based add-ons that would push the total past $120 million. The package is designed to leave no doubt about Liverpool's intent. As Paul Joyce of The Times put it, a compromise is expected in the coming days. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Leverkusen aren't just holding out for cash. They want talent coming the other way. Specifically, they're eyeing two of Liverpool's most promising young players, Harvey Elliott and Jarell Quansah, as possible makeweights in the deal. Both are highly rated in Liverpool's academy, but both have found opportunities hard to come by this past season. For Elliott and Quansah, it's a classic footballing dilemma. Stay and fight for minutes at one of the world's biggest clubs, or use a transfer as a springboard to regular starts and Bundesliga stardom. The human side of mega transfers is often overlooked, but for these young men, careers and dreams hang in the balance. As for Wirtz himself, the German prodigy isn't keeping his cards close. Multiple sources suggest he's made it clear he wants to move to Anfield. Bayern Munich's president Herbert Hainer even conceded, "Max Eberl informed me that Florian Wirtz is probably leaning towards Liverpool." For a player with the pick of Europe's elite, that's a thunderous endorsement of Liverpool's new project. Yet, as these negotiations accelerate, the pressure on Liverpool Football Club is building from all sides. First, there's the weight of history. The previous British transfer record, Enzo Fernandez's $106 million Chelsea move, was already seen as an outlier. Liverpool is not just matching it, but potentially blowing past it. Every pundit is asking, can one player, however gifted, really justify this scale of investment? If this bet fails, will it haunt Liverpool's finances for years? Second, there's the risk calculus. Florian Wirtz is electric in the Bundesliga, but the Premier League is a notorious graveyard for foreign signings. For every Salah or Van Dijk, there's a Timo Werner or Kai Havertz, great talents who needed time or never quite adapted to England's relentless pace and physicality. Is Wirtz ready to leap into arguably the most intense footballing environment on the planet? Third, Liverpool's squad is in flux. Trent Alexander-Arnold, arguably the club's best academy product in years, has been sold to Real Madrid for $8.4 million. Darwin Núñez, last summer's record signing at $85 million, is being courted by Saudi clubs and Atletico Madrid. The goalkeeper, Karim Kelleher, is off to Brentford for $18 million. Even before Wirtz arrives, the identity of Liverpool's next starting 11 is up in the air. The strategy is clear: sell smart, buy smarter, and always, always think 2 moves ahead. The sale of Núñez alone could inject a further $60–80 million into the war chest, while Luis Diaz and others are also drawing big money offers from abroad. But for fans and rivals alike, the pace of change is dizzying. Liverpool's model, once the envy of Europe for its stability, is now a high-wire act. And what about Bayer Leverkusen? Though their Bundesliga title charge was powered by Wirtz's genius, they know replacing him is near impossible. Manager Erik ten Hag faces a summer of upheaval, admitting, "We have to build a new squad and a new team. It's a fantastic process that I'm looking forward to with a lot of enthusiasm." That's the spirit of a man handed an enormous transfer war chest, but at the expense of losing his brightest star. For Leverkusen, this deal could underwrite a complete squad overhaul. The rumored sum, after paying out small slices to former club FC Köln and satisfying all the performance clauses, offers unprecedented spending power. The club is already circling James McAtee from Manchester City as a possible reinforcement. But can you ever truly replace a player as singular as Wirtz? There's another layer to the story. This isn't just about one club or one player. Across Europe, the hunt for young German talent is transforming transfer logic. Premier League clubs see German prospects as ready-made, tactically drilled, mentally resilient, and adaptable. Wirtz, in this sense, is the crown jewel of a new gold rush. But none of this can obscure the human pressure on the main players. For Richard Hughes, Liverpool's transfer supremo, sealing this deal is the ultimate test of his recruitment vision. For Bayer Leverkusen, it's about maximizing value and avoiding a post-Wirtz collapse. And for Wirtz, the eyes of a global audience hungry for the next superstar are squarely on him. And then there's the business side. Every clause in this transfer is being measured, hedged, and negotiated. From performance-based add-ons for Champions League qualification, to sell-on fees for previous clubs, to the possibility that Leverkusen could ask for Harvey Elliott or Jarell Quansah, and perhaps even leverage Liverpool's desperation to extract more value. Never has money, talent, and ambition been so tightly interwoven. Xabi Alonso, former Leverkusen manager, puts it succinctly: "Flo is one of the top players in the world. He is world-class. Whatever he does, I am really close to Flo, and I will be happy for him." Yet from the outside, there's still a sense of peril. Liverpool is wagering not just unprecedented cash, but a chunk of its footballing identity on one deal. Can Wirtz live up to astronomical expectations? Can Leverkusen survive and thrive in a post-Wirtz universe? And will Elliott, Quansah, or some unexpected wild card be the next breakout star moved by this transfer domino, reshaping careers and destinies across Europe? As the window narrows and phone calls fly across borders, one final unanswerable question looms. What if this historic deal falters, or worse, succeeds, but not in the way anyone expects? The stakes have never been higher, and the outcome could reverberate far beyond Anfield and Leverkusen. What happens next, and who truly wins, remains to be seen. So, the stage is set for one of the most momentous transfer sagas in recent football history, a saga that could ripple far beyond the confines of Anfield and the Bay Arena. But what happens next? Let's unravel the threads and peer into the future of this seismic move. First, let's consider the scenarios on the table. If the deal for Florian Wirtz goes through, Liverpool will have secured arguably the Bundesliga's most exciting player, a creative force named as Germany's Player of the Year, a talent courted not just by Premier League giants, but with enough allure to have even Bayern Munich deeply concerned. He would arrive at Anfield backed by a British record fee, performance clauses, and a weight of expectation that would daunt most young players. But for Wirtz, already described by Xabi Alonso as world-class, one of the top players in the world, the challenge may be exactly what he craves. But Liverpool's gamble is about far more than what happens on the field. As one club official put it off the record, the Wirtz deal is a flag in the ground. It's not just about winning matches, it's about winning a new era. There are multiple layers of risk. Liverpool's financial model has worked in part by balancing big buys with savvy sales. The willingness to break the $100 million barrier and possibly let go of beloved young talents like Harvey Elliott or Jarell Quansah sends a message to supporters. This club intends to compete not just now, but for years to come, even as it tears up its own old playbook. There's the risk of destabilizing a squad culture built over years. Both Elliott and Quansah, standout prospects, have been praised for their attitude and adaptation. If one or both are sacrificed to sweeten the Wirtz deal, it not only weakens Liverpool's bench depth, but also provides Leverkusen with the ideal tools to rebuild. For Leverkusen, such a scenario is golden. Not only would they bank a record fee, but they'd instantly receive Premier League proven reinforcements. With both players struggling for minutes in 2024-25, this move could be the launchpad for their own careers to explode, ironically, at Liverpool's expense. Now add another twist. Liverpool's agreed sales elsewhere. Alexander-Arnold has already left for Real Madrid, Darwin Núñez is poised for a possible Saudi or La Liga switch, and backup keeper Kelleher is gone to Brentford. Liverpool's squad will look dramatically different come August, the spine rebuilt, the wage bill rebalanced. This isn't just a transfer, this is a cultural reset. Of course, there's opportunity too. If Wirtz adapts quickly to the Premier League's tempo, his vision and agility could transform Liverpool's attacking play. Remember, this is a player who made 16 assists and scored 14 goals in a single Bundesliga campaign. Exceptional numbers for a player who only turned 22 this year. Imagine him threading passes to Salah, orchestrating moves with Szoboszlai, or combining with a new, as yet unknown number 9. The tactical options become dazzling, opponents are stretched, and the cop is kept buzzing. But the flip side is equally stark. History is littered with cautionary tales, British record signings who never settled, with Andy Carroll a painful reminder from Liverpool's own past. Will Wirtz struggle with the league's physicality, as some expert voices have cautioned? Will the pressure of the fee hold him back, or worse, will the loss of homegrown squad depth haunt Liverpool in the months to come? Simon Rolfs, Leverkusen's sporting director, captured the moment's ambiguity. It's currently an open subject with Florian. There is concrete interest from Liverpool, but there's no more to say right now. Florian is our player. Let's also consider the broader footballing consequences. If this deal shatters British transfer records and succeeds, it could set a new bar for the value of top young playmakers across Europe. German clubs will no longer be just stepping stones. They'll be negotiating from positions of strength, driving fees up for elite English suitors. Young pros and Bundesliga academies will see a clear path to global stardom and Premier League superstardom. And Liverpool, under new sporting director Richard Hughes, will have proven the wisdom of data-driven, high-stakes recruitment, a shift away from their Moneyball roots, and a potential harbinger for the next wave of English club strategy. But what if things go wrong? The pressure on Jurgen Klopp's successor, tasked with integrating Wirtz, replacing Alexander-Arnold's creativity, and forging a new core, would be immense. The media would circle, pundits would question, and rivals would sense an opportunity. Bayer Leverkusen, flush with cash and imported Premier League experience, could become the blueprint for German clubs selling smart and buying smarter. One scenario, as described by the Times' Paul Joyce, is that Liverpool's record bid forces rivals like Bayern or even City to break their silence and swoop late. Would Wirtz change his mind? According to Bayern president Herbert Hainer, Florian Wirtz is probably leaning towards Liverpool. But in football, heart and contracts are rarely aligned for long. There's even the chance for a seismic ripple in the transfer market. This deal could embolden other Premier League clubs, United, Arsenal, Chelsea, to go big for young continental stars, ratcheting up prices and expectations across the continent. It could also, paradoxically, squeeze mid-table clubs, as the pool of affordable top-tier talent shrinks further. And then there's the human element. How will Harvey Elliott or Jarell Quansah feel if they're bartered as make-weights? Will their careers flourish away from Anfield, or will the deal be remembered as a misstep on both sides? Could Liverpool's faith in Wirtz inspire, or will it fracture the delicate chemistry built over the last decade? What does all this mean for you, the fan and the football follower? In a world where club identities are being reshaped in real time, this saga isn't just about Liverpool or Leverkusen, Wirtz or Elliott. It's about the acceleration of change in elite sport, the delicate trade-off between nostalgia and progress, loyalty and ambition. If you're a Liverpool fan, this is a test of faith. You're being asked to buy into the vision of a new Liverpool, one that bets big, moves fast, and isn't afraid to reinvent itself. The lesson here is clear. Football is a story of cycles, and even the greatest teams have to take risks to stay at the top. Every club, whether in England, Germany, or beyond, now faces the same challenge: adapt or fall behind. If you support another club, watch closely. This is the shape of things to come. Record fees, bold moves, a relentless hunt for the next superstar. The transfer market as an arms race, one where hesitation costs and courage is rewarded. Studying Liverpool's approach can give your club clues about what will work and what might backfire. For players and young talents everywhere, the message is both sobering and inspiring. German academies have developed a new generation of stars, and the Premier League's reach is only growing. But with every record fee comes more scrutiny, more noise, more pressure. The careers of Elliott, Quansah, and Wirtz are case studies in how talent, timing, and opportunity collide in modern football. So what can you take from all of this? First, never underestimate how quickly fortunes can change in football. Even established stars and fan favorites can find themselves on the move if the club's vision demands it. Second, look for the longer-term patterns behind the headlines. Liverpool's method isn't just to buy, it's to build for tomorrow as well as today. That's a lesson for fans and rival managers alike. And third, remember that every blockbuster deal is a crossroads. The transfer market is not just about numbers on a screen, but about identity, dreams, and the infinite possibility of next season. As we draw to a close, let's return to the question at the heart of this story. Can Liverpool's huge gamble on Florian Wirtz pay off, or will it reshape both clubs and the transfer market in ways we never imagined? Here's the truth. Success in football can't ever be fully guaranteed, not even with a record fee. If Wirtz adapts and thrives, he could be the creative spark that lifts Liverpool back to domestic and European glory, inspiring a generation and justifying every penny. If he falters, the consequences could reverberate for years, not just at Anfield, but in how clubs across Europe evaluate, price, and pursue young talent. But whether the gamble pays off or not, this deal will be remembered as a turning point. For Liverpool, it's a leap into the unknown. For Bayer Leverkusen, a necessary evolution. For the footballing world, a warning shot that ambition comes with risk, but also with the chance to write history. And here's a secret fact most fans don't realize. FC Köln, the club that first nurtured Wirtz as a boy, is quietly set to receive a substantial slice of this record fee, as much as 1.5%, courtesy of FIFA's solidarity mechanism. Even in the glitzy world of mega transfers, there are still hidden stories, legacy threads, and local dreams being fulfilled. Now, what do you think? Will Liverpool's record move for Wirtz herald a new era of dominance or be remembered as too bold, too soon? Have your say in the comments. Let's get the debate going. And if you want to keep up with every twist in this transfer saga, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Because what happens with Florian Wirtz could